Hey guys, it's me Beta, and this is Poppy. She's a little sleepy. I just woke her up from her nap to do the intro, but she's gonna be sleeping in my lap for the most of this. No, right, sweetie? You're so sweet. So, she's gonna go in this pouch and burrow nice and warm. Today's video is going to be a hamster video, of course. But someone suggested to film a video about how to keep your hamster warm in the winter and cold in the summer. So I introduced Poppy in the beginning of this because I have had 2 run-ins with hibernation with her, and it was the scariest time of my entire life, especially the first time I found her. I actually have footage of that day, and I think the time after that, so I'll put those clips in here as I talk about it. But basically, it was right after I rearranged my room, and her cage was right next to my bed underneath the window, and it was warming up, so I thought, you know, nothing of it, everything's gonna be fine, until like a 30-degree day hit, and my room got really cold. So I check on the hamsters very often because I'm terrified of them going into hibernation, and luckily I did, because when I opened her cage and I opened her little hidey hut, usually I can see her like run to the other side, or like other side of her cage, or just hide from me in general. And I saw her and she didn't move, and I'm like, oh my god, please don't be dead. So I go and I pet her, and I can feel her heartbeat. It's very slow, and she's very, very cold. I'm like, okay, hibernation. I've practiced for this. So basically what I did was I took her and I held her really close to me. I came over and I turned my heater blanket on my bed, and then we went to the bathroom. I turned it on high, guys. We went to the bathroom, and I have like a wall heater in there, so I was like holding her like next to the wall heater trying to warm her up, and also my hands are always cold, so I felt really bad, so I kind of like wrapped her in a towel and held her up against the heater and everything, not directly, but you know, to get enough warmth. And once I thought that the heater blanket would be warm, I came back in here, sat her on the heater blanket in the towel still wrapped up, and then covered her. I think I used the pouch that she's actually in, this one. And as she was sitting there on the heater blanket, I went to the kitchen and I grabbed a cup and I filled it with water, and I put it in the microwave and I heated it up until it was like almost boiling, so it was like really warm. And then I put that into a plastic baggie, and I had this warm bag of water, and I came in here and I put her up against me, put the bag of water up against me, put her on top of the bag, put my heater blanket over me, and I kind of made like a little cave, and she could like sit there on top of everything trying to warm up, and I used my body heat as well. She was like very, very lethargic, and like she just didn't want to move. Her breathing and her heart rate were very slow. So finally, once her temperature came back up, everything started to normal and everything, and she started acting like herself, and I'm like, oh my god, we're out of the woods. Okay, thank goodness. So we're having a little emergency. I think Poppy is on the verge of hibernation. So she's under here. She's not looking too hot, and she's a little cold. So I held her in front of the bathroom heater a little while. She's got a little bit warmed up, and then I have this bag full of water that I microwaved for a minute, and it's hot, so we have it. And then this heat doesn't die. Come on, girl, you got this. You got this. We are out of the woods. She's acting much more like herself. Don't ever do that again. You scared me. I think it's because it was really hot yesterday. What I can suggest from learning about this whole entire thing is that so in the winter, you need to have a lot of bedding for your hamsters. You need to make sure that their cage is in a like warm place. Get it off of the ground if it's on the ground, because heat rises, as I said, the higher to the ceiling the better. You know, just so that you're able to get to them. You can't glue their thing to the ceiling, but you know what I mean. And if your hamster is prone to almost hibernating like mine is apparently, I would suggest doing that thing with the water and or any like source of heat basically, and like warming up their little hidey hole, and then they can go in there and hibernate, and the bedding will insulate it for a little bit. And yeah, I think that's basically it. If your room is very cold, make sure you have like a space heater or something. Don't put them in front of a window. I've learned that the hard way. Windows can leak cold air. Not very good for them, because even the smallest breeze, like I feel like if someone blew on her and like their breath was below like 60 degrees, like she would just fall over and die. I think she's so freaking fragile. I think the name Poppy fits her very well. But yeah, you'll handle them a lot more in the winter because your body creates heat. So what I usually do is, if I'm scared of her like having an episode, we'll call it, I will take her out of the cage, and you know, when she's awake and everything, and I'll basically like move her around. I'll let her run around on my bed, or like on a playpen area or something, or basically I'll just like, you know, let her have a whole bunch of activity. Make sure they have a wheel in their cage, because that way they can burn more, make more body heat by exercising. So on the other hand, during summer, you kind of want to do the opposite of everything. You don't want to handle them too much, because your body heat can, you know, absorb into them, increase their body heat, and they get too hot. The thing that I usually do with my hamsters is make sure they're not in direct sunlight, because that can heat up their whole entire cage, and especially if they're in a glass enclosure like Poppy's, it can heat up very fast. Let's see. Make sure they have plenty of water to drink, because just like you and I, when we both get hot, we like to drink a lot of water, and so do hamsters. So making sure that they're hydrated is always a good thing. Oh, another thing you can do is you can go to like a hardware store where they sell like tile. I think it's pretty cheap. I heard it's like 50 cents each, and you can grab like one of those ceramic tiles and put that in their cage, so that always stays cool, and they can like run on it, or they can like make their little burrow on it, so they can always lay on something cool and, you know, cool off. If I can say cool one more time, that would be perfect. Another thing that you can do in the summer is give them frozen treats. So either just like freezing fruits and vegetables, or either putting their water in the refrigerator before giving it to them. That can always help as well. Make sure your room is well ventilated, so it's not like stagnant air, because that can increase temperature, but also make sure they aren't in the way of a fan, like directly blowing on them, because then that can give them chills and they can get sick, and not good. So take your hamster outside. That's just common sense, but I'm putting that in here. Summer, don't not give them like a lot of bedding. Hamsters always like to burrow, and I don't know if you guys know this, but if you're cleaning your hamster's cage, or like you're moving stuff around, and you like kind of put your hand in their burrow, it's usually colder in there than it is on the above surface of the bedding. So them burrowing is also a way of them trying to cool themselves down. I think that's it. Poppy, do you have anything else to add? I don't want you to die, little girl. But yeah, very scary. So 10 out of 10 don't recommend having your hamster hibernate or on the verge of hibernation, because absolutely terrifying. So you get to be the star of this video, sweet girl. Your brother's nowhere to be seen because he didn't almost die. Yeah, you're so sweet. Good girl.
so sweet. Say, I don't like to be too cold or too hot, or I'll just die. You're such a chill girl, aren't you? You're such a chill girl.
Okay. If you guys have any other suggestions or recommendations or tips at all, go ahead and comment them down below. I will make sure that my comments are on. Sometimes they aren't. I have no idea why, but it can be a little frustrating. So, but yeah, thank you guys for watching, and go ahead and leave any recommendations that you have for new videos down below, or anything that I left out. Look how chill she is. She's chilling. Like, I'm not even like holding her in my hand that hard. I'm literally just, she's just sitting here. She's just chilling. I'm just chilling, Mama. You're so cute. I love you so much. I love you so much. You have no idea.